Hi everybody. So I just logged on here. I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to join us if anybody wants to watch. So if you saw my post from earlier today, we will be making these awesome little trays. They're pretty cool with some handles, and they're out of actually old cupboard doors. So that's what we'll be making. Kind of look at that for a little bit until we have some people logged on. Oh, I got one. I am going to try to use some colors today on some of my stuff, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, okay, I got 3, so I'm going to start because it is about time to start. Alright, so this is what we're going to be making today. A really cute little tray. You can use it for coffee tables, are really nice, especially if you have people over, you have just like some stuff you want to set around. This is good for just like some teacups or candles if you want to use it as a decor piece, but this is a little tiny tray here. So, alright, so as you can see, what I did with these is I just went and I bought some just regular, out of the like knob, the kitchen aisle, you'll find just like handles and knobs, and this is one of the ones I just bought at Ladies Flea Market the other day. So I did find this one. These were a little bit more expensive than what I would usually buy because I'm dirt cheap. I usually find stuff in like a junk pile, or like if we're spring cleanup, I usually pull knobs and stuff off of dressers. So these here were 2 for $5, which is still cheap. And they're really pretty. I just couldn't pass them up. I love the color of them. They're very elegant. So, and I found paint. Actually, I didn't find it. I had it sitting around. A paint color that matched those really, really well. So I just threw that on there and made the tray this morning, actually. Good morning, Becky. So, I'll just tell you guys what you need to make these real quick, and then we will get started. So like I said, you'll just need the knobs. It can be anything. It could even be just the round knobs if you want to do it that way. It could be the actual handles. It could be the ones that kind of are more of like a, remind me of like old like door knockers, those type of things. They do sell them like that, which would be very pretty on these too. So anything that catches your eye that you would like, you can use. These are just old cupboard doors. If you look at the back of these, I'll flip it. One of my coworkers actually gave me these last week, and as you see, I didn't paint the back of this. I didn't really have time to this morning, so I just did the front. But anyway, these are old cupboard doors, and they're, I find ones with like really pretty detail. This one here has like, as you can see, the detail that sticks out on it. And it is kind of hard to find them as far as for trays, because you do want ones that have a flat surface. This one has a small flat surface, but this is what I had to work with this morning, which worked out perfect actually. It gives it just enough detail. It has the border around it, but you still have a pretty decent sized tray. That way you can still fit pretty much on it. Okay, so like I said, old cupboard doors. You can buy these at, like, if there's a Goodwill, they might have some. I do like a lot of flea markets. You can usually find them. And we also have a little store here in the Johnstown area. It's actually Wimber, I should say. It's called Petrunix. And they have tons of cupboard doors, tons. Every size that you can imagine they have. So if you live in the Johnstown area and you're trying to find somewhere to buy these, if you're watching this video, Petrunix in Wimber has some amazing doors, real pretty styles, and I made a lot of stuff out of those. So you can always stop there. Alright, so we're going to get started. If anybody does have any questions or anything, please just comment. I'll try to keep up with everything. Good morning. My mom's on here watching this morning. Good morning, Mom. Yeah, she did find the live video. Alright, so I'm going to start with one. It's very, very similar to the one I made this morning. This one has the same amount of space here. It might be a tiny bit littler, but it does have really pretty detail as well. So I figured I'll use this one to show you guys. And a shout out to Steph Johns who gave me these. Thank you very much. So, what I'm going to start with first is you want the holes for your knobs, okay? So, or your handles or whatever you want to call them. So I am going to use these. I ran last night real quick to grab some of these because I didn't have a lot of them left. I didn't have any matching ones anyway for today's project. So I just grabbed these. These were like the cheapest ones I could find, and I figured I had paint to match them. So these were from Ace Hardware. They were like $1.29 or something a piece, which Lowe's, Home Depot, I know they definitely have these. I don't know if they have the copper colored ones, but they definitely have the black, and I think they might have white ones. So these are pretty just your basic, like if you're looking for something really cheap and cute, these are pretty cheap and cute. So you can usually get them for $1 or something. So I'm not even going to really do anything to these because they're going to match my project. Sometimes I paint them if they don't match, but these match pretty well. So I'm just going to keep them the copper and black color that they are. And we'll go from there. Okay, so these actually come with screws, which is nice. And some do and some don't. It just depends on what you get. Most handles and knobs nowadays do come with their own screws. So there's two different types that you can do this with. So these here, the ones I made earlier today, I'll kind of show you that next here, what kind those are. But these come with actual screws, just regular old-fashioned screws. So these are easy to work with because you don't have to drill the whole way through the door. So these you'll just measure like normal, like you normally would to find the middle of that board, and you'll literally just put them on there and screw them in. So the other type that you can get, which would still work, so don't panic if you go out and buy a knob and you're like, my screw, this isn't the way this knob works. That's okay. If it's more like this, where a lot of these handles and knobs are, they are actually ones that already are drilled through. So to do these, there is no spot to put a screw through here. It's actually underneath. So if you look at this, this one is made for them to actually go in on the top and be drilled through like that. These here are opposite because they're just made for literally cupboard doors and drawers, which already have that set for this type of knob. So this door of course didn't because I made it into a tray, so I had to drill my own. But they actually go in from the bottom and through and into that handle. So it is a little different. So it does not matter what type of handle you pick, you can still make this work. So don't go to the hardware store and just pick a knob and say, oh, get home and panic and say, okay, I can't drill through this, there's no way to get this on. There is. You just got to go from the bottom up. Okay. So I'll kind of show you. I just picked out another knob I had laying around just in case some of you are still like, not quite sure about that. Let me find it. Alright. So if you do get a knob, like I said, like the one I made this morning, they actually go into the bottom of that, just like that. So you'll have to drill the whole way through your cupboard door in order to put that on. So this part will be at the bottom, and of course that'll go up through, okay? And these here are a little bit opposite. These actually are just like regular screws, you just screw them right on. Okay, so that is the difference, but don't panic if you do go out and buy a knob and think, oh boy, how am I going to get this on? It's easy. It's the same thing. Alright, so I am going to use a drill on this still, even though I'm just using the regular screws, just screw it in. I am going to drill a tiny bit down through here just so I don't crack this board and just so it's a little bit easier. So we'll do that first. I did drill one just to make sure it was going to work for me this morning. So I will start on the second. I'm using, and it just depends on the size of screw you're using, but this bit is just really tiny because my screws are really tiny. Happy Leap Day! So I already measured. Everything is measured there for me. My husband helped me with that because I am terrible at measuring. I just eyeball it. And I just marked with permanent marker there. I already drilled that one. I'm not going to go the whole way through this one. I'm just going to start that hole just so it's easier for that screw to go in there and so I'm not cracking this. Or splitting, I should say. So I'm just going to line it up. And just start those little bit of holes there just so my screw can go in. Alright, so those are already started. So that is done. Now this is where I would get my sandpaper and just kind of go over these just so they're not as rough. With that bit is so tiny that it's not really leaving anything. But if you are using a bigger bit because your screws are bigger, I would go over this with a little bit of sandpaper so it doesn't look so rough and broken. And for that, I'm just using the 120 grit, like always. It's my favorite grit. And I'm just going over those just to take the roughness out. And it doesn't matter if you scratch that wood, we're painting it anyway. So just real quick going over those. Those are a lot smoother now. And usually your handles will cover it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I just like to be picky. Okay. So that's done. Alright, so that was just the start of where my handles are going to be. You can do this step after, but I recommend doing it before you start painting. That way you're not chipping your paint around where this handle is going. Alright, so the paint that I picked today is of course Art Minds, but I am doing a mix because I really wanted a dark, like deep brown to match these handles along with the copper color. So I am doing a mix of the Art Minds paint, which is of course at Michael's, and if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know I'm crazy about it. So it is the Art Minds paint, and I'm also using, this is also from Michael's as well, it's called Folk Art, and it is a chalk paint as well. Don't mind this, this can is like completely destroyed, but this is Folk Art, like I said, and it's Java color. It's just a deep dark brown. It's really, really pretty. I just didn't have any other deep dark browns in the Art Minds, so that's why I'm using this. And you can mix, it doesn't matter, just as long as it's chalk paint. So, using that. Let me see. Trisha, I got these are actually cupboard doors. They are just salvaged cupboard doors. My co-worker and friend, she actually got me these or gave them to me. So I am using these today, but you can buy these or pick them up. Like I know spring cleanup, if you find just like old stuff that people are throwing away, you can get lucky and find doors on stuff. I've taken doors off of things and made things out of them. There's also like other places. There's a lot of like, I'm trying to think here where you could get them. I'm not quite sure where you live, but if there's any type of like flea markets or anything like that, sometimes people just sell the doors off of things. So you could find them there. If you live in the Johnstown area, Petrunix has them. It's just like a salvaged place that gets like damaged things or just, I don't think they get donated, but I think it's more like damaged stuff that they get or orders that weren't right that they just get kind of, they buy them in stock, I guess, and then they sell them out. So yeah, you can, any store, any like, even probably Lowe's. You could probably go to Lowe's or Home Depot and I'm sure they have like discarded stuff that was ordered wrong that you could probably get for pretty cheap. So, yep. You're in North Carolina. Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, you know, as far as, I've never been there, so I don't know as far as store-wise, you know, how your stores are there. Or if you have, I'm sure you guys have like some type of outlet or salvage yard or anything like that that you could go get those. And you can get them pretty cheap. You really can. All right, so that's where I got the doors from. So your next step here, I was going through the paints. I am using a couple different colors today. Yes, colors. I'm not just using white and gray, colors. So I am going to use the Art Minds Basic White, of course, because I have to have my white in there somewhere. And then I'm using the Java Chip from Folk Art, and that's also from Michaels. So I'm using that. That's that color. And then this is the color that I used the other day. This is the Art Minds. I'm trying to keep this all straight because I'm using more than two colors. This is the Art Minds Metallic Copper. Okay, it's shiny. As you can see, this is kind of glistening. This is not. That's just regular chalk paint. And this is the metallic chalk paint. Okay, so Java Chip is the only one that is not Art Minds. I'm sure Art Minds has a dark brown like this. I just don't have it today. I didn't end up going to the store yesterday to buy one. I just figured I'd use this one. And they're both very good chalk paint. I just love my Art Minds though. I just like their colors. They just have a lot of pretty colors and it's good paint. So that's a 3. This is kind of what the end result is going to look like. It's just my little practice piece here. But as you can see, that's going to match that really, really well. I'm backwards on this camera like always. Okay. So I wanted to kind of pull that metallic out and that copper color, and I think it's going to look really pretty. Crystal, I am from Johnstown, PA, little Johnstown, PA. We don't have a lot of crafting and stuff here. It is very just, I hate to say it, it's a sad area. There's not a lot of art. There's not a lot of, no, we're trying to grow that here in Johnstown. There are little art centers and little stores that are coming to Johnstown, PA, which is awesome. But the market here for this kind of stuff is very, very slim. It's sad. So I'm trying to get this started. That's kind of why I started these Facebook Lives. I figured I'll pull from different areas and hopefully get everybody involved in this. I do start classes around here, but I'm struggling. I'm struggling getting them started. I'm struggling getting people there. There's just not interest here in Johnstown, PA, unfortunately. But yeah, so I figured I'd share with other areas. All right, so I'll start first with some white chalk paint, the Art Minds chalk paint. And I'm just gonna shake it. It has been like an hour since I used it, so. All right. Okay, and I am just using my chip brushes again today, like always. Let's see here. Aw, thank you, Trisha. Yeah, I would love to open my own store someday, maybe someday. I would love to. Like, that's my sun porch. When I was doing my stuff for my wedding, my sun porch was like filled with all of my wedding decor and just repainted stuff, and it looked so beautiful. And I'm like, I could just put a sign out front and just call this my store. But I don't think that anybody would have stopped. So I don't think my store would do too good. But hopefully someday. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Hi guys. I know a couple more of you joined. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and paint, and if you see me squinting, I'm trying to read your messages. I am a little bit further away here. Alright, so I am going to start with my white. That is going to be my main color on this board, okay? And it doesn't matter where. I'm just going to start. It is going to be fully covered in white. This isn't just like a glazed or dusting of white, so I don't want to see any of this cupboard door brown showing through, not for this project anyway. Sometimes I'll use that as my advantage, so just wanted to make sure this is all good. All right, let me see. I have a long question here. It's a great place for old. Yes, Kelly, I think. Sorry, I'm really having a hard time seeing people's names. If I say your wrong name, I'm sorry. But yes, I am definitely familiar with Evansburg. We're not too far away from Evansburg. I grew up in Middle Taylor, which is kind of close to Nanny Glow and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty close to there. I do like that area. We actually are looking for a house, and we've seen some houses in that area, and it's an up and coming area. It's really, really pretty there. M&M, I'm trying to think. M&M. I don't think I've ever been there, actually. I don't think I've ever heard of that. I might have to check into it. That sounds like an awesome place. I'll definitely be going. Let's see, place, and they have upcycled. Oh yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll be researching that. Maybe that'll be next weekend's trip. But thank you. I don't think I've ever been there. And maybe I haven't, I just don't remember the name, which is very possible because my memory is not the best, but I really don't think I've been there. So thank you. I will definitely stop by. All right, so I'm just doing my full coat here. And it doesn't actually have to be perfect because you are going to add other colors to this. So if you do miss a spot, it is not the end of the world. It's just, you're going to just cover it with a different color. And the chip brushes, I know I've told you probably a couple of times before if you watch my videos, these are chip brushes. You can buy them at Harbor Freight is where I get mine. And Lowe's, I'm sure Lowe's and them, I don't know. I think they have them, but they're not as cheap. So Harbor Freight, you can actually buy a pack of them. And it's pretty cheap, especially if you have the 20% off coupon, which they're really, really good for. They always have like a free item, Harbor Freight, and a coupon. So that's where I do most of my shopping. The one guy there is always like, "You're back again? Like, what do you need?" Like, I'm there like every week. So they know me in there, unfortunately. Let's see here. Yeah, I see my mom commented, "Yeah, Mom, I've never heard of M&M. I'm sure we'll make a trip out there soon. My mom will definitely be going to Evansburg with me on that one." Let me see, Kelly. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me know, because, I mean, seriously, that would be awesome. I would love to go if it's still there. Let's see. 7 p.m. from Maryland. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Boy, you've been all over the place. Elise, I think, is what your name is. I'm sorry. I'm really having a hard time reading names. I really need to get, like, a closer screen for me. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I have not heard of it, but yeah, I'll definitely be Googling that later when I get off of here because I definitely want to go. Yeah, Mom, me too. I'm excited to find out where that is in Evansburg, and we'll definitely have to make a trip out there. Absolutely. All right, so that coat is good for on the very outside. Like I said, you might have some spots that it's kind of showing through a little bit. That's all right. We'll go back and cover that up with another color. And I'm going to move on to my next one here. And I did the outside first just because I have, well, I should have did the inside first is what I should have done. Because I have the habit of dragging my sleeves, especially when I'm wearing sleeves like today, because it is freezing here in Johnstown. And I will probably drag it some point in time through this lovely outer frame that I just painted because I didn't paint the inside first. So just bear with me here. Just going to paint this real quick and then we'll move on to our next color. And I see I already got paint all over my shirt, so that's great. Another one. I need to invest in a couple of bibs or like overalls or something. I mess up all of my clothes. I am terrible. I cannot keep any like everyday clothes decent because they have paint on them within like 5 minutes of me doing a project. And you think I would just simply just put my ones that already have paint like on the side in a separate drawer and just use them over and over again. I don't. I'm not good with that. I'm a very impatient person when it comes to my painting. So I just paint in whatever I have on. All right. Let's see here. Okay, good. I got your name right. Awesome. I'm like, I need glasses or something. It's bad. My eyes, it just must be like getting old. Yeah, I'm gonna just sum it up to that. Let's see, Trisha. Yes, I'll message you, definitely. Website as well. Yeah, share that. You're more than welcome to share the link on here. That's fine. I have no problem with you guys sharing like store links or anything like that. That's totally fine. Alright, almost done with the white here. Good. Make sure I'm not missing where I can't see here. I'm going to turn this a little bit. And it seems like I am getting a lot of comments and stuff today. So like I said before, you know, if I don't catch them right away, catch your questions, because the screen is only half of a screen. I can only see so many at a time. So please I'll go back today, definitely today, and read over, make sure I didn't miss any questions. So if you do comment and I don't get back to you in this, I promise I'll respond afterwards on a comment. So definitely for questions and everything too. Alright, so the white coat is pretty good there. Just going to go over, kind of clean up some of my brush strokes. This chalk paint dries really quickly, so I was trying to work a little bit fast there. It does dry, which I like, because there is hardly any drying time because I'm an impatient person, so this works out really good if you're like me and you just don't have patience to sit here and watch paint dry. So that's gonna dry. I'm going to do the edges real quick because I do want the edges white as well. I am not gonna paint the back of this right now because it's just, I want to get that done so you guys can see the finished project here. Okay. So just continuing that white right on the sides here real quick. And this is an easy project. Like, this would be something cute if you have kids and you kind of want to put your own touch, you know, in one of your rooms with a little bit of decor from your kids. You could have them help you paint this. I know I don't do a lot of kids projects. I don't have any kids. So if you do have kids and you kind of don't have time to sit there and do this on your own, and you know, I know life gets busy, you could have your kids help you with this. This could be a family project that you could do. You could do like their little handprints or just have them paint on it, and you can make it look cute, definitely. So just get the colors that match your decor, and you could let them do that if you want to make this into a family project. And you can do that pretty much with anything nowadays. This paint is pretty awesome. All right. Almost done here. Okay, one last side, and then the white will be done. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of comments here, so give me 1 second here and I'll go back. Alright, so everything's painted there. I'm going to go back and read some comments why this dries a little bit, and then we will get on to our next color. Here we go. Alright, let's see here. Let's see. Spawned. Awesome, Kelly. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, Judy, I ruined, as you can see, I have paint right here already, just from leaning over reading comments. I will get paint on anything. So, my hands, by the end of this, will be covered. Yeah. If I paint walls and stuff, I'm fine, which is odd because that's a big amount of paint on, like, a big surface. And I'm usually fine. Like, I don't get paint on the floor. I don't get paint anywhere. But when I'm doing my projects, I must be a lot more, like, messier. I don't know. But yeah, any clothes that I wear when I'm painting, they're destroyed. Definitely. Let's see here. Information, Facebook Messenger. Oh, thank you, Lauren. Thank you. Evansburg, Munster. Oh, Kelly, yeah, definitely. I know. Junk stores are my favorite. Like, I know if my husband asked me, he's like, oh, where do you want to go today? It's Saturday, let's go somewhere. I'm like, let's go to a flea market or let's go to Goodwill. Like, anything like that, I love. And I almost have to, like, put a limit on things for myself because I'm like, okay, no, I can't just go crazy and buy, like, everything because then when I buy, like, bulk stuff, I forget that I have it and then it just sits around. So now I've kind of slimmed myself down to just narrowing it down to like, okay, I feel like doing this, I have to go look for this. But that's hard to do, especially at junk stores. Absolutely. Let's see here. Yes, make one, definitely. You can get these anywhere. So if you have like a Goodwill or somewhere that maybe has like old cupboard doors or Lowe's, just run and go get one. Absolutely, make one today. It's a good day. I don't know about you guys, but it is ugly here in Johnstown, PA. Other places might have sunshine today, but it is like really crappy out here today. So good day for this. Let's see. Oh, Lancaster, PA. Awesome. Love Goodwill. Yeah, shout out to Goodwill, definitely. Alrighty, so I think this is pretty dry. There's just a couple spots here. I'm gonna take my hair dryer over and dry real quick. So that is pretty dry now, which is good. Okay, so like I said, chalk paint dries really, really quickly, especially this Art Mine stuff. It's dry within a couple of minutes of painting it, which is awesome. All right, so my second coat here, let me rinse out my brush. All right. So my second one, I'm going to use the dark Java color. And like I said, this isn't the Art Mines paint. This is actually Folk Art, and this is from Michaels too. So chalk paint with chalk paint, it doesn't really matter what brand. I've never came across one that you couldn't use with another one or that it didn't look good with another one. Chalk paint is pretty much all the same consistency. It just depends on the brand and everything. They might have little different things in them, but it's not like you're trying to mix an acrylic with a chalk paint. So they should, you know, be fine mixed together. Even colors, if you want to make like a brown lighter, you can put some white. I've mixed the Art Mines and the Folk Art before and I haven't had any problems. So if you guys find a color and you just kind of want to make it lighter and you have some white chalk paint, it's not the same brand, it should work fine. So I am going to use this. Don't mind my beautiful can because this is how messy I am. But like I said, this is the Folk Art here, and this is the Java, and the white was just the Art Mines, and that's just plain white. Alright, so on this one, I don't want a full coat. I just kind of want to, not glaze over it, but just kind of brush, just give it some color. So with my clean paint brush here, my chip brush, I'm just going to dip that. I'm just using the lid. I put some tiny bit of paint in the lid there. And I'm just going to use that, okay? Coat it a little bit. You don't want it globby. You don't want to be dripping it all over your board, just real lightly, okay? And actually, I don't think there's anything on this. Okay, I don't know. I saw a piece of something fall off of there. Okay, so it looks good, and I'm just going to get my brush. Hopefully I can kind of see what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to go over that. I'm just going to start with my border here. There's no rhyme or reason to this. You're just kind of going back and forth real lightly. You're hardly putting any pressure on that, okay? Okay. And you can add more as much as you like, as little as you like. Doesn't matter. It just depends on your style here. Okay. you know, later on, if you see a couple spots that you want to go back and hit again, that's fine. I am going to kind of outline the edges here a little bit on this, just because I really like that dark color, and that's what's going to bring out your design on here. So if you do have, like this one has detail on it, as you can see, I want to bring out that detail. Use it. Definitely use it. Okay. Stop dropping my paintbrush on the ground here. Let's see here. Here it is. 73. That's awesome. 73 degrees. Oh my goodness. Look, let me see. You can put, yes, you can use crackle paint. Yeah, definitely, Trisha. You can use any type of paint. It doesn't matter. I just use chalk paint, but if you like the crackle look, go for it. Absolutely. This is like what I just had sitting around, so I figured I'd use it. But yep, definitely use the crackle paint if you like that look. It almost kind of resembles this a little bit. Yeah, you're right. It gives it more of like that crackle, of course, look. If you guys ever did remember when the fingernails were real big? The fingernail polish, the crackle fingernail polish? That's kind of what it's like. So that's what I compare it to anyway. But yeah, that would be really pretty on here as well. That would be. I might have to break that out and do a project with the crackle. It's a good idea. Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to kind of finish here. I call it my eyeliner of this project, is when you highlight all of the edges here. So just gonna finish that, just give that a little bit more there. I know it's probably hard for you guys to see. I'm trying to turn this towards you, but yet I'm trying to see too. Okay, there we go. Good. And last corner over here. I'm going to stand up to do, just so you guys can kind of see, and take that straight up there. And get the edges there a little bit. So, kind of gave it the eyeliner effect, is what I like to call it there. All right, so I'm going to continue here. I'm going to go on the inside here a little bit. I need a little bit more paint. And if you're not using too much paint, this should kind of settle in where that needs highlighted. So if you're not pushing really hard, let me kind of show you guys here on my sample piece. So the lighter you push, maybe, there we go, we'll use this side. The lighter you're pushing with the less amount of paint, you're going to get that bold look. If you push pretty hard, you're going to get more of a smear, okay? So, I mean, it looks pretty still, but I am doing the less pressure on this just because I want that bold line with my paint. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to add a little bit more here. All right, and now for the middle of this, I'm just going to kind of add a little bit. In there. Now I like this here where that's looking kind of bold. I just need a little piece down here. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. There we go. And this is where I start getting like picky, especially on a flat piece of this project. A little bit more in the corner there. All right. Okay, it looks pretty good. All right, so that was the deep dark brown Java from Folk Art. Okay, let me see here. I love it. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's pretty. I like the white and brown together. I really do. It makes the brown pop. All right, so next color. I'm not even going to clean my brush for this because then you get the water and have to dry it and everything, and it's fine. There's not enough paint on there that it's going to affect the next thing. So the next color I'm going to use, if you saw my video on Thursday, this is the Art Minds, of course, and this is, I've seen metallic paint before, but this is actually the chalk metallic paint. So this is really, really pretty. It does have that shine to it like a metallic. So if you guys like metallic and you want to still do the chalk paint, this would be it. And I'm sure other brands have it, but they just had it on sale, so I snatched it up real quick the other day. Good. All right, so this is my next one. And if you watched that video the other day, it was a really runny paint, and it does need mixed pretty well. I know I'm bad for mixing. I usually just shake a couple times and open and use. And chalk paint to begin with is very thick, mostly. This stuff is definitely, let me see here. I use a screwdriver to mix stuff actually. But this stuff is really runny. Even after I mixed it earlier today, I'm not going to tilt it the whole way over because it is full. But you guys can kind of see how runny that is in there. It is definitely a runnier type of paint, and that is probably because of the metallic in it. All right, so I am going to stir this, and even though I really did mix it up like really good earlier, it still was pretty runny. So it's definitely a little bit different to work with. You are working, you know, it's not as thick, so you got to kind of switch up gears a little bit, I guess, because if you're used to working with thicker chalk paint and that type of texture, you got to kind of watch because this stuff is a little bit more runnier. All right. So there is no, like, I don't know if you guys ever mixed chalk paint before, but sometimes it kind of gets hard at the bottom here and it separates. There is none of that in this can. So it is fully mixed. This stuff definitely will never need watered down. I never tried to, I don't know why you would need to water it down, but I never tried to, so I'm not quite sure if that's possible to do with this. I'm not exactly sure what ingredients is in this. It is chalk, so I'm guessing it is water-based. I could be wrong. Should have probably read that actually, just so you guys could have had more information. Okay, so let me wipe this off. All right, I'm very bad for cleaning my screwdrivers. There's like old paint, there's everything on this. It's still usable though, it works. I used it earlier. All right, so now I'm going to get my paintbrush with the dark brown, and I'm just gonna lightly, very lightly get a little bit on my brush, as you can kind of hardly tell that it's even on there. Just because it is so watery, I'm just gonna kind of test it real quick. So I'm gonna hold this up, there we go, okay. And I'm gonna start, same thing, okay. I'm just gonna add that in there. And I would just use very little to begin with, especially if you're using this metallic chalk paint, just because until you get the feel for it, or even have a practice piece of wood, just so you know how much to use on your brush and how hard to push and the pressure. But it shouldn't be that much different. Just gonna glide it across there. This stuff, of course, smudges easier. The thicker the chalk paint, the bolder it goes on. So this stuff, you know, you don't want to press really, really hard with it. Okay, and as you can see, that is coming to be a color there on there. It looks really pretty. And I'm just going to keep working my way around. And if you add too much somewhere, there's always sandpaper, so it's okay. You can always fix by adding paint, different color, or sandpaper. All right. Just gonna keep going here. Kind of blend in that little brush stroke I have down there that I don't like too much. Okay. There we go. So it's definitely pretty. I'm definitely adding that metallic look into there. Okay. Just gonna keep going real lightly. And I'm barely putting any pressure on this brush. I'm just kind of lightly brushing over this. Okay. So there's my frame part of that. That is done. Okay. And then the middle. It's going to go right in here. Real lightly again. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of add, I might go a little bit thicker wherever those big brown spots are not, just to kind of blend it all together there. All right, so there you go, there's that part. All right, so I am going to go around the edges. I did kind of forget the edges with the dark brown, so I am just going to go lightly over those real quick with a little bit of both of the colors, just to get that in there, just so it continues on to the sides of this. Just give me a couple minutes here. All right. And if you're brave and you like this look and you have old cupboards in your kitchen, go for it. It might take you a while, but I think it would look awesome. For whatever color you would use, I would love to do this on some, like an old kitchen, like old cupboard doors and stuff, just to see how it comes out. I think it would be so pretty with this look, definitely. But of course, we're not in our forever home, and it came with new cabinets, of course, you know, it came with new cabinets, so I can't ruin the new cabinets for somebody else, for the next buyer, so can't really have fun with mine. But there we go, there's that. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more dark brown here just on the sides, because I did kind of miss those earlier. Alright, on the lid again. I'm not going to wash off my paintbrush, there's no need to, there's barely any paint on it. And it's the two colors that I'm using anyway. Turn this backwards just so I can see it. You can paint the bottom of this. That's completely up to you. I'll probably go back later and paint it. I just didn't want to make this video really long, so you guys aren't sitting there like, oh my gosh, come on lady. But let me just see how this project is finished. Alright. Okay, perfect. And really this chalk paint is drying almost as I put it on. We have my house pretty warm right now because it's cold out. So that chalk paint is drying almost instantly, especially when you're just putting that little bit at a time on there. It's drying like really quickly. So there's that, okay. All right, so I'm going to get this out of the way so I don't spill it. And let me let that dry fully. I'm gonna catch up on some comments here. Let's see. There's lots of comments today. I'm loving this. Let's see here. I don't know where I ended on these. There we go. All right, there we go. Yes, Celeste, you can add some plaster. That's fine. Yeah, whatever you would like to do, make it your own. Definitely. So if there's anything that you guys like about this project or don't like about this project that you want to change, just do it. I'm just throwing the ideas out there. Make it your own. You guys are more than welcome. I have, it's called What You Up To Wednesdays. I do post on there. I do have like a schedule. So if you guys go to my Facebook on there, and at the very top, I pinned it to the very top of my page, it goes over my schedule for the weeks. So every week is the same. It's just different things on different days. So Wednesdays, please feel free. I'll post a picture of just pretty much asking what everybody's up to. So if you do one of these projects, please feel free to post it on the comments with a picture. I would love to see your guys' finished projects. Share your ideas and everything. That's what this is all about. So definitely, if you have something that you think that would work with this project, please do it. You know, go ahead and make your own. I do want to see them. I think it would be awesome to see everybody share their stuff. That is going to be amazing. So yep. And so Wednesdays I do post early in the morning, so you have all day to comment on that. Just add whatever you would like. Definitely. So I thought that was cute. That is pretty much dry now. So I am going to, which I don't think I've done in a video before, I am going to finish this project with some wax. I usually don't use wax, especially if it's just for a really little thing, like the tea light candles that I did the other day. I didn't use wax or anything on those. Those are not really a used surface. So if you're doing like a dresser, a table, or these, something that you're actually going to be setting stuff on, I would finish it with some wax or some type of coat. The dressers I just did, which I'll probably be posting a picture of them soon, I did just drop something, but I did just finish another part of that dresser refinishing project that I'm doing for one of my customers, and that was acrylic paint, so I finished it with let me think here, polyacrylic. So any type of surface that you guys are going to use to set stuff on, I would recommend finishing it in some type of either wax if you're using chalk paint or polyacrylic if you're using acrylic paint, because you don't want to leave it unsealed. That's when things start chipping and start scratching. Okay, so this is, there's like a dab of paint there. I don't know how that happened. Okay, anyway, so I am going to seal this with some wax, and I am just using the Art Minds wax for this. So I know I used the Folk Art paint as well. It doesn't matter. I do try to stick kind of in the same brand. So if I was using like all of, I don't know, for instance, Folk Art paint, I'd probably use their wax just because I wanted to keep it the same brand, just in case, because they do make their wax around their paint. So on this, I'm just using the Art Minds. That's my favorite. And this stuff is not badly priced. I know Walmart has their Waverly paint. That's pretty good too. And Waverly wax. So if you're using Waverly, I would probably use Waverly wax too. Okay. But so far, every project I have done where I've mixed different brands and different wax, it's worked fine. It really has. All right. So I have used a brush to apply the wax, and I've used just regular rags. I like just the cloth rags to do this. To me, it just works better. If you use the brush, that's fine too. That's awesome. It's whatever you kind of like to use. So I am going to flip this inside out because I did use it earlier on my other one. And these are nice. These are just dish rags. I know if you read some posts, they're like, oh, only use this type. These don't have a lot of like fuzz, so they're kind of nice to use. I do like them, and this is kind of what I use. I don't know if you use a brush or not, or if you ever had to have used wax before. That's fine. It's up to you. Whatever you like to use better. All right, so I am going to apply this. You don't want to just dump it on there and start, rubbing it in. You actually just want to dab a tiny bit. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of clean that off a little bit. I don't have that much on there. And I'm going to just almost rub that into there. And you can kind of see it'll kind of blend in too a little bit. So I'm just going to real lightly go over this. I should have probably actually took my hairdryer over this real quick. Let me do that. Just because some of the paint still looks like it might be a little damp. It's kind of smudging. This thing's gonna catch on fire when I'm using it. It's smelling really, really hot. So if you see me like drop it and run, that's why the thing's on fire. Okay, anyway, so I am gonna continue to use this wax. Hopefully this is dry enough. I don't feel safe using my hairdryer anymore. So I'm just gonna get a little bit more on here. Okay. And just lightly kind of rub that into there. And it will bring out the color more too. And try not to leave any like really like clumpiness on this, because wax can be kind of chunky like. Just mix it really good and make sure you're applying it, and make sure you're not just dumping it on here and leaving it, because then it just turns into a disaster. So I'm just gonna wipe this almost like you're just cleaning it. This is gonna seal that so you can use it as an actual surface. I am pushing pretty hard, not really, really hard, but hard enough, okay, that it's actually getting into the wood there. It's almost like staining. If you ever stained before, you know how it kind of just soaks and seals a little bit. It's almost like that, a little bit. All right, so I'm just gonna go over that. And as you can see, it kind of brings out that color and gives it a little bit of gloss, a tiny bit, and it makes it stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to go over it. I'm going to make sure that I did not miss any big chunks on here, because I don't want to let that dry like that. Okay, looks pretty good, especially in your corners. That's where this wax can kind of gather. If you have too much on your rag, you want to make sure you're getting that off of there. You don't want to let it on there. All right. Okay. So that's pretty much it with that. So that's pretty much done with the painting part. It looks pretty good. It's pretty. Okay. So if if you wanted to touch anything up, I would have done it before you put the wax on, of course, because you don't want to go back and do it now, just because of the waxy texture. All right. But it looks pretty. So now I'm going to put my handles on. Okay. And these are the ones, if you watch the beginning of this video, these are the ones where the screws go straight through, okay? They're not the type of handles and knobs that the screws have to go in at the bottom of the wood and come up into the handle. This is just the regular screws, okay? And I think that's going to look really pretty. I was excited to see this together because I was like, oh, I can't wait to use that metallic copper color I have. I have the paint to match it, so it's going to look really pretty. All right, and I already pre-drilled a little bit of the holes for the screws, so this should go pretty easily. I like using a regular screwdriver, but today I'm going to use the drill, because if I don't, it'll take me like 25 minutes to get one screw in. So I am going to use this. Let's see here. Now to find my holes, because I painted over them, so just give me 1 second. There we go. All right. So that wax dries pretty quickly. I just leaned against that. I kind of felt it, so it reminded me to tell you guys that. It is still a tiny bit tacky, but your paint should be dry, so you should be okay to put these on there. All right. All right, so there's that one, and I'm just going to do the next one here if I can find it. There we go. And my next screw, I always lose these. They're probably all over the table somewhere, so just bear with me. All right. Maybe if I can get I'm really struggling. These screws are just little. All right, so that one's on there good. With these, they're pretty, they're pretty good. Now you don't want to pick out knobs. Make sure before you even start screwing these into here that your screw is not longer than your wood and your knob together. So if I would have used, I have this here just so I can kind of show you guys, if I would have used a screw that long, you're going to have it poking out the bottom. So make sure that, oh my goodness, I cannot hold that. Okay, there we go. Let's try this again for like the 4th time. So if you have that, that's going to stick out. So make sure when you buy your knobs, some come with 2 different sizes of screws. This one did. It came with a small one and a larger, longer one. So make sure you're just you know, not going to drill the whole way through your wood there and your screw's going to be sticking out the bottom. That would not be good. And I don't think you would really want to scratch your surface of your table or wherever you're using this tray. So that's the number one thing to check before you sit down and start even doing this project, and make sure you have the screws that are little enough that they're not going to go through your wood, okay? The whole way, anyway. And make sure they're long enough, too. You don't want, like, really tiny ones and then be carrying, like, a heavy tray of stuff and your screws coming loose and your tray falling. That would not be good. So make sure they're pretty decent sized. They should go halfway, if not more, through the handle in wood, okay? So this one here, it does. You can see that would be the surface, and it goes a little bit more than halfway through there, but it doesn't poke out the bottom of that, okay? Plus you have the width of the handle too, so that's on there as well, okay? So I'm going to do the other one real quick. Go. And like I said, you guys can put the handles on or drill the holes after too, that's okay. I just did it before because it was a little bit easier, and it's just nicer because then, you know, at the end of your project you're excited to be done with it and excited to see it, so it makes it a little bit easier. Oh, that did not, oh, that's the first time that happened to me. That screw actually broke. So I'm gonna have to get another one. Of course it would happen on a video, right? It's actually in the wood too. Alright, so that is something I will have to go back and fix later. That has never happened to me. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish up this one here. I'm not gonna screw it in the whole way, just because I do have to get the rest of that metal piece of that screw out of there. Okay. Alright. I'm trying to think what I can get that out of there with. It's going to have to almost be a knife. Okay, so I will do that later because I'm not going to sit here at this video and take out that screw that's in the wood now. Okay, so that is pretty much your finished project minus my little whoops there. So that's your tray, alright, and it should carry a bit of weight. I mean, that's pretty much in there. It just depends on the depth of your screw and how big that is too, okay? So that's how you make these awesome trays. They're pretty easy, pretty fun, pretty quick. So yeah, if you guys make one, please post. Please let me see them. I want to definitely see. You can share them on Wednesday. I will be posting about, you know, what you're up to Wednesday. So feel free to comment on that and post your stuff, especially if you made one of these. I definitely want to see them. Should give you plenty of time to make them. But yep, fun project. Pretty awesome. I like it. Turned out pretty good. I like the color copper here that I decided to go with. It turned out really nice with that copper paint. Looks really cool. Alright, so I am definitely going to go back and, oh, thank you, Trisha. I'm going to go back and read through all the comments because I know I've missed some today. This was kind of a hard project for me to go back and forth with as far as paint drying and stuff. So I think I covered everything. Pretty sure I did. Definitely. Alright, so if you're in the Johnstown area, I know I went over this the last video I had too. I will be holding classes here. I have a couple different places where I'm holding them. If you go onto my page, you can see my events and they are there. So if if you're from Evansburg or Johnstown or anywhere around here and you want to travel a little bit, even to come to one of my classes, that's awesome. I will show you guys what I'm going to be making here the next couple classes. Let me take this real quick. Sorry, I'm going to make you dizzy. Alright, so these are kind of things that I'm going to be making. Of course, the He Has Risen sign, that's been floating around there for quite a while. I definitely dropped that. Alright, anyway, it's He Has Risen sign, okay? And you guys can definitely sign up for that class still. I still need a couple more. I think I need 3 more people to even hold that class. Okay, so if you guys are interested, please contact me. You can message me, that's fine. And this here is one of the ones after it. This is the Earth Day. I think it's in April that I have it scheduled for. This is the actual terrarium, okay? And we'll be having a class on how to make that as well. All right. And all the supplies to make these projects, if you decide to come to one of my classes, it's all included in the price. The classes range from like $15 to like $35. It just depends on how much supply is needed for that project. So they're cheap classes. If you want to make it a night out with a friend, it's something cheap to do, and you go home with something. So, like I said, if you're in the Johnstown area and would like to do that, please just contact me. I can get you information on any of the things that I'm holding. Alright, so I'm hoping that I helped you guys today. Hoping that maybe I kind of made your Saturday and turned it into a craft Saturday. That would be awesome. But yep, if you guys have any questions, please message me. I'll go back through the comments. Thank you so much for watching again. I really, really appreciate it. I'm getting more and more viewers every time, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So thank you guys so much. Alright, I'll see ya. Bye-bye.